manifesting here. So today I felt like I wanted to talk about my own experience with the law of assumption and how I learned to use it and everything I had to learn. I just felt like I had to get this off my chest because honestly I've had a hell of a journey with the law of assumption. Well, it began with the law of attraction, of course. It was a while back, but yeah, it's a lot, and I feel like a lot of you that are beginners or already know a bit of, the whole manifestation, you would definitely benefit from my own experience and everything I've learned. So it all began a few years back, before even subliminals were a thing. So it was not super well known, and if you guys know, the law of attraction is basically attracting what you vibrate in a sense. So you have to be positive to receive money, or you have to think positively to this manifestation so you can vibrate in the same frequency. It's confusing. It was confusing even at my age. I was a bit younger, and I remember how forced everything was. Like, I couldn't be sad, I couldn't be angry, I couldn't feel any of those emotions because I wouldn't get my manifestation technically. So I felt frustrated more than feeling liberated with the law of attraction, because it felt like prison. It felt like I couldn't be human. I couldn't feel emotions that were natural to me that I felt in my current state. So I just remember feeling anger towards the law of attraction because I felt like I couldn't really be myself. I couldn't really react or feel what I wanted to feel, whatever, right? So it was a hard time that I remember. Did it work? Sort of, not really. It wasn't really anything that, I don't have any big memories of manifestation that really made me happy. Just small bits and pieces. And yeah, it was hard. I just remember feeling frustrated. That's the point of the story. At least the beginning of it. Then I remember exploring a bit more on YouTube, and I discovered Neville Goddard, and that man changed my whole life, honestly. Him basically being the law of assumption, like he's the creator of it basically. And for those that do not know, the law of assumption is when you assume something, then it has to manifest in your reality. Now, this was a game changer because I did not have to rely on my feelings. I did not have to be happy 24/7. Now it was about creating beliefs that were aligning with my new self-concept, new ways of living, my view of life, my view of myself, my view of people, etc. But once again, now it was like another struggle where, which technique should I choose? Should I do SAT? Should I do scripting? I realized that, I guess me being a human, I think most of us have the same struggle, that we just try to make everything harder than it really is. And it took me years until I actually realize that I have to trust myself. I have to trust in my ability to manifest, that it's not the techniques that manifest, it's actually me. I have to be the person that has X, Y, and Z, has that person, looks the way I do, acts the way I do, etc. That's why I really want you to know that, even especially as a beginner, that stop trying to figure out the best way to manifest, or have to find out how to make everything manifest now, and no minute later, or basically being desperate and needing some sort of gratification, seeing whatever you wanted to manifest now in the 3D. Realize that it's not necessary. This is ego talking. This is a person that is not used to the law of assumption. This is a person that is not used to manifesting. You are making a bigger deal than it is. So I will say it again. Don't try to chase any sort of technique. Don't ever think techniques manifest for you, because it's not true. Don't try to look at everybody else and, if she does it like this and it manifests, then I have to do it. Realize that you have to find your own way of manifesting, and whether you're, let's say, only script because you hate stats, that's okay. That's the point. Something that doesn't fit me maybe fits you. So just realize that techniques don't manifest, and don't chase best technique to manifest X, Y, and Z the fastest way. You should never think about that. Also, something very important that I want people to take from this video is that you should never feel heavy, sort of tired of doing techniques. If you're tired, if you feel heavy in your body to do techniques all the time, you're doing it wrong. You should never feel any sort of like, oh, like it's night, I have to, you know, do sats to make it happen. Like, if you ever think like that, you have failed. You have to realize, again, like I said previously, your techniques have nothing to do with your success rate with manifestation. Your techniques should be fun, should be stress-free. It should be something that connects you with you and you feel relieved, happy. It should never be like, oh, it's work, I have to do it in 30 minutes or every 5 minutes. And I just want to say something that is so fun with the law of assumption. Everyone is different. So if you listen to me and feel like, you know what, let's say affirmations, say every 5 minutes works for you, fine. But this is general tip that I would say to anyone, especially the beginners, because sometimes people say, you know, affirm every 5 minutes, affirm every hour, affirm this amount of times. Realize that you can try it, realize how it feels for you to do it. Let's say maybe you manifest something after that, good, then you can continue doing it. But usually, you know, when people promise that, it can really make people focus on the technique itself instead of thinking about the belief, shifting the state, etc. Now, something I wanted also to talk about is bridge of events. So in the law of assumption community, bridge of events, it's basically, let's say you affirm and you start believing that point where you realize either that it's done or what the belief has set in your head. That point on, there's an event or events starting to unravel in front of you. And I don't mean literally, but like behind the scenes. So that's usually how manifestations happen. Like, let's say you didn't want to go to school to do a test, let's say, and then all of a sudden the next day your teacher got sick. That's the bridge of events that had to happen for you to not do the test, right? So that's the bridge of events. And why I want to talk about it, because I feel it's so important, because I fell into that trap where I thought that sometimes I had to do stuff. And this, like I said before, this goes back to the law of attraction, where everything was about action. Like, you have to do something to get it. You have to work to get money. You have to study to get an A. You have to do this and that. And with the law of assumption, this is so important. I want everyone to listen to this carefully. You do not have to do anything. And people will say to me, well, how is that possible? Let's say if you want to manifest SP that you don't know, you have to go somewhere to meet them, or I don't know, go on a dating app or something. But realize that what I mean is not like, oh, laying in your bed 24/7 or sitting on your couch, right? What I mean is that you will naturally do stuff without even thinking, literally. So let's say you have set your mind to manifest an SP. You don't know who it would be, like you have no idea. You have maybe a list of how they look like or how they act and stuff, right? That now you wonder, okay, but how will they come to me, or how will I come to them? Realize that bridge of events is so funny, and I love it. I think it's such a funny concept in the law of assumption, because without even knowing, without you thinking, you will start doing things, and you will not think this is like bridge of events. So maybe your friend will say like, hey, can we go to the gym today? I don't want to go alone. You will go, you will never think twice about it, and all of a sudden you meet your SP. That's the bridge of events. That's the only action that will happen. And of course, sometimes, you know, you will decide for your own self, you know, I will go to this concert and I want to see my SP. Fine, that's okay. But remember, the bridge of events doesn't have to be on you. It can be on them too. So it's a fun thing to remember and really crucial. Don't freak out about actions. You don't have to know how to get there. That's not really your job. And it's amazing that we don't have to know. And if you do want to know, fine. That's completely fine too. You can manifest your own bridge of events that suits you. Now, the last thing I would love to talk about is self-concept. This is also something that really stuck out for me, and I had to really delve deep into what it really means and why it is so important. Look, I know that so many people from the law of assumption community were sort of against it in the beginning. Some people said that, the only thing you need is assumption that aligns with your manifestation. And then some people said, well, you can of course manifest it, but then you will not keep it usually. And this is something I have to test on my own. And I will say this, I needed, and it was a must for me to rewire my whole self-concept. My beliefs about myself, beliefs about my body, my health. It can be anything about you, really. And it was hard for me to manifest even the law of assumption, and I didn't really understand why, because I was also against getting my self-concept together, because I thought it was just assumptions and shifting to a different state, right? But like I said, it didn't really work. It almost never worked. So I really had to delve deep and realize that I have to work on my self-concept. And that's why I created my sleep tapes and my shorter version of subs, where the focus really is on you. I will never do a sleeping sub or any sort of subliminal or anything of that sort without focusing also on your self-concept, because everything about you, every single belief about you creates your future. So to keep it short, self-concept is so important, and I personally think it's like top 3, if not like top 1 or 2. If you, like I said, this is something that I will always have to say, I think the law of assumption is, versatile. It's not just you have to do it like only one way. So if you feel like you never had to work on your self-concept, good. But for those that feel like, I tried to manifest this for, let's say, a few months or a few years, this could mean it's a deeper thing that needs to be worked on. And I would definitely recommend watching my older videos and listening to me talk about it, because it just really fascinates me, and I have so many stories just based on self-concept and things that shifted in my life after I had to work on my self-concept. So hope this helped you guys. I really enjoyed talking with you. I did not prepare any of this script, so if it really is all over the place, I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you for listening to me, and remember to comment any sort of requests you would have for my future videos. And if you have any questions, please ask them. I would love to answer them, of course. So thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!